Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 BioMelbourne Network Women in Leadership Awards ceremony. My name is Jeff Malone. I'm going to allow about 30 seconds for everybody online to come in and virtually sit down. So if you'll bear with us for about 30 seconds, we will commence formally. Thank you. Okay, I think that's good. So once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 BioMelbourne Network Women in Leadership Awards ceremony, sponsored by the State Government of Victoria, Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions. My name is Jeff Malone, and I'm the CEO of BioMelbourne Network, and it's my great pleasure to welcome everyone here to join us in celebrating the outstanding leaders in our sector. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous Australians who may be joining us in person or online today. This morning we're delighted to share a special message of congratulations from Her Excellency the Honourable Linda Dessau, AC, Governor of Victoria.
Hello to everyone attending today, whether in person or online. I'm so pleased to be involved once again with these BioMelbourne Awards, and I want to congratulate everyone involved in the process. For the second year in a row, you've not allowed an obvious range of obstacles to defeat you in the nomination and the judging of worthy recipients and in the presentation of the awards today. Well, these awards are very important. Women are still, just as they are in so many significant areas, underrepresented in biotech, medtech and pharmaceuticals. And girls are still not being attracted into these sciences in the numbers that we need. At the same time, there are many successful and clever women to celebrate, brilliant in their chosen fields, making such an enormous contribution to a sector that is so integral to the prosperity of Victoria in both economic and in broader terms too. Representing our state here and overseas has given me a particular insight into our strengths in life sciences and research. We have much of which to be proud, including, during the pandemic, the contributions of our researchers and epidemiologists. We can also be proud that the Australian Institutes for Infectious Diseases and Global Health will be located right here in the Parkville precinct. This pandemic has taught us many lessons, and a central one is that we need every brilliant mind to rally in order to see us through a successful recovery period. Never have we been more aware that we simply can't succeed in the best health outcomes unless we're able to rely on the skill and the dedication of our brightest women as well as our brightest men. In fact, something positive, I think, from this pandemic is just how often we've heard from and relied upon expert women, whether in government health official roles, in research, or in other aspects of medicine. It's gratifying that a generation of children, fixated as we've all been on the science, will be able to see women represented in every part of an exciting and admired career. Thank you to BioMelbourne Network for continuing to raise the profile of women and for ensuring that more and more girls see themselves in these leaders. Congratulations, of course, to the award winners, and thank you for your achievements, helping to enrich the lives of all Victorians, and often those far beyond our shores as well. I wish you a very successful time today.
Our sincere thanks to the Governor for her message. Although she was unable to join us in person today, we're incredibly grateful for her time and commitment to honor this special occasion, to share her generous words of support. So to that, thank you, Governor. We're also delighted to be joined in person by the Honourable Jane Garrett, Parliamentary Secretary for Jobs and Member for Eastern Victoria, who will be presenting the awards. Thank you for your time today. That's it. And for your contribution to the ceremony. I would also like to thank and acknowledge the State Government of Victoria via the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions for supporting this important ceremony today. We're pleased to be joined by over 140 friends and colleagues, both in person and online, for today's event. I'd like to make special mention of some of our esteemed guests: Dr. Amanda Caples, Victoria's lead scientist, Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions; Georgie Crozier, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition in the Legislative Council, Shadow Minister for Health, Shadow Minister for Ambulance Services, and Member for the Southern Metropolitan Region; Emma Keeley, MP, Shadow Minister for Women, Shadow Minister for Mental Health, and Shadow Minister for Prevention of Family Violence; and of course, Connor Kersafi, Executive Director for Innovation and Medical Research with the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions. A very warm welcome to all our BioMelbourne Network members, directors of the board, award winners, nominees, nominators, and of course the judging panel who are joining us today. A special welcome to all friends and family members who are here to support their loved ones today as well. We once again come together to recognize true leadership in biotechnology, medical technology, and the pharmaceutical sector. BioMelbourne Network's annual Women in Leadership Awards are an opportunity to collect and share the stories from around our state that will serve as a compass for anyone taking the leadership journey themselves. We're honored to be able to share some of these incredible stories with you today. The impact of good leadership within the health industry has rarely had the ability to impact humankind so clearly and so directly as it has during this past year, but this year was not just about the pandemic. Many nominees continued their focus on cancer research, while others leveraged our low COVID-19 infection rate to further solidify our leadership position in clinical trial space. We can be proud of the women in leadership in Victoria who ensure important work continues, so we come out of this difficult time even stronger than we were before. This year we received the highest number of nominations to date. Our sincere thanks to all those who nominated and to our judges who had the difficult task of reviewing and selecting the final awardees from amongst so many worthy candidates. Our three traditional award categories highlight the achievements of women at different stages of their careers, including those in more senior positions and those who may have more recently engaged in leadership roles for a specific project, purpose, or impact. These awards are Emerging Leadership Award, the Inspiring Leadership Award, and of course the Distinguished Leadership Award. In acknowledgement of the challenges thrust upon the sector by the pandemic, we've added a fourth award this year, chosen by our board of directors, which recognizes leadership and impact amidst the pandemic. This special award shines a light on the incredible women in Victoria who have contributed so significantly to our response to COVID-19. This year's winners are truly exceptional women in their respective fields of expertise, and we're privileged to share their achievements with you today. Throughout the ceremony, we encourage you all to show your support and share your message of congratulations on social media channels and in the chat function for those who are joining us online. We'll be sharing your messages with the awardees post-event. I'd like to now welcome the Honorable Jane Garrett to say a few words. Thank you, Jane. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Jeff, and to Ms Guthrie, the Chair of BioMelbourne Network, to my parliamentary colleagues, Georgie Crozier here and Emma Keeley, who may be online. Big shout out to my son, Max, who's with us today and looking at how good women can be in their future at chosen careers. Good career in STEM waiting for you, I think, young man. And he'll just love I've said that. But it's it is a really great pleasure to be here today, and like Jeff, I'd also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting, both in person and virtually, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders joining us today. It is a group of exceptional women here who have been nominated, and those who will go on and achieve the awards here, but everybody who has been recognised. It's an extraordinary achievement. There's a few stated facts that we can all agree with here in Victoria, and I think the first one of those is that we are a global leader in health and medical research. Our Parkville precincts, our Monash precincts, the absolute vision and commitment of successive state governments on both sides to create world-class interaction between universities, hospitals, research facilities, and now, of course, the wonderful world of our medtechs, biotechs, all sorts of other techs, our startups, that ecosystem, which has been identified, enriched and supported by not just government contributions, but by, again, the university sector, our hospitals and our research institutes make Victoria one of the most vibrant and interesting places to work, study, grow, research, develop, and, you know, the flow-on effects for Victoria in terms of a rich cultural and intellectual life are matched by the rivers of gold, so to speak, that flow from all of your efforts in terms of our export capacity and our being identified as an international leader. The second thing I think that is absolutely indisputable is that the women involved in our medical research and our health research are world-class, exceptional, and we're celebrating them here today. And again, that is the product of a very healthy approach from all of those players I mentioned to really identifying and supporting women right from school all the way through. I think the third thing that's an indisputable fact is there's not enough of us women doing this at every level, and I can spew stats at you, but you know them all too well. And it begins in primary school, when we're seeing girls either through years of curriculum or you know, gender bias or whatever we say, turning away from our sciences and our STEMs in droves, and that we're having like very low statistics of people, young women, following it through. So this is why it is so important that we celebrate women here today, and we do it again at every level. I mean, I've had the privilege to go to many different awards now and many different celebrations of women, from the very young entrepreneurs kicking goals to schoolgirls who are leading the way, and of course to events such as today where we really celebrate, because it is, there's no doubt, given the few numbers of women, that the obstacles are there. It's that, as I experienced as a young lawyer, walking into a room and you're the only woman in that room, and the blokes might all be very lovely about that, but you're still the only woman in that room, and you can't be what you can't see phenomenon that runs right through. So the young girls just aren't seeing enough of women, and this is why events again like today and recognising these achievements, which are great, is so significant for how we shift and change and get more and more girls involved. And so it's just terrific to be here. So we and the government have been a proud supporter of the Women in Leadership Awards for numerous years. And just last year, we recognised inspiring female leaders from CSL Limited and Health and Leica Biosystems. In 2019, we celebrated women working across the sector in fields spanning paediatrics, genomics and policy. We know supporting women like you all here and those participating virtually has a very positive impact on our wider community. And as I mentioned, we're also supporting really key programs, initiatives and events aimed at reaching girls in primary school, high school and universities and in the workforce. So in conclusion, as we present these awards, again, thank you so very much for everything that you do to advance the health and well-being, not just of Victoria, but of the world, really. You are recognised as global leaders in your fields, and you are role models to many, many, not just girls, but I'd particularly like to celebrate the girls, many, many girls who are finding their passion and their curiosity and interest in this critical area, which, as we know, saves lives. So thank you so very much, and I look forward to handing out the trophies and doing little elbow pumps. I've been instructed in no uncertain terms, so if I try and grab your hand, run. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jane. I really appreciate that, and I think I'll remember a good takeaway from that is you can't be what you can't see, and the fact that we've got not just the people who are here, but we've got a total of 140 people listening in today. Hopefully, we're a part of that movement. So, it's now my great pleasure to introduce and announce our first award winner. The Emerging Leadership Award recognizes and celebrates an inspiring leader who has taken on a career challenge, career move, or career change within the last 2 to 4 years that has had high potential for industry impact. The awardee is a rising star who is, regardless of age, seen as a mover and shaker with high potential for future success in the industry. So I'd like to announce the BioMelbourne Network Emerging Leadership Award for 21 goes to Dr. Hannah Kirk, an HMRC Early Career Research Fellow at the Turner Institute for Brain and Mental Health, Monash University. So congratulations, Hannah. Over the last 5 years, Dr. Hannah Kirk has worked in academia and held executive roles in the digital health and medical technology sector. In her current role at Monash University, Hannah drives several large-scale projects that develop and evaluate digital interventions to improve cognition, behavior, academic, and health outcomes in children and adolescents. Hannah is an emerging global leader within the field of digital health research and is the co-inventor of a patented attention intervention for children with developmental disorders, which is an approved Class 1 medical device, FDA and TGA. Collectively, her work has helped shape public discourse about the use of innovative digital technology in supporting positive mental health and development of the youngest members of our society. Hannah is passionate about research, translation, and uniting academia and industry to produce innovative evidence-based tools that have direct benefits for the community. She is a strong advocate for advancing gender equity in academia and industry and promoting STEM careers for girls. So if you will, please join me in congratulating and welcoming Dr. Hannah Kirk, our 2021 Emerging Leadership Awardee. Thank you. Well done, Hannah. Please take a moment. You say a few words for us.
Thank you, Jeff, and the BioMelbourne Network for this absolute honour. I would like to thank Her Excellency, the Honourable Linda Dessau, and the Honourable Jane Garrett for being here to present these awards. I'm deeply humbled to be standing here before you as the recipient of this award. The last 12 months have been like no other. The pandemic has brought with it a wave of uncertainty and anxiety. On a personal level for me, this year has also brought with it huge joy and my proudest moment to date, the birth of my son. Becoming a mother has given me a new perspective on the absolute force of nature that women are. Having only just returned to work, I won't pretend to understand all the complexities of balancing a career and family. However, I'm so grateful for the strong and inspiring women in both my personal and professional life, who provide proof to emerging female leaders like myself that balance truly is possible. I've been very lucky. I found a career I loved early in life, and I'm lucky because I've been surrounded by amazing people who have encouraged that love. At the age of 23, I moved from a very small village in England to Melbourne on my own to complete my PhD. I had 3 exceptional supervisors. One in particular has championed me throughout my entire career, and 10 years on is sat in the audience supporting me today. Thank you, Kim. I'd also like to thank Monash University and the NHMRC for the support of my research program. I'd also like to thank my partner, Fraser, for being shoulder to shoulder with me in everything I do. And finally, thank you once again to the BioMelbourne Network for providing a platform to acknowledge and celebrate women in leadership in the health sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. And congratulations again as the recipient of the 2021 Emerging Leadership Award. So before we move on to the next award, a reminder to all of our guests to share your messages of congratulations and support via social media, and also hashtag BioMelbWomen. And for our online guests via the chat function, we will share these messages again, a reminder, with our awardees post-event. All right, our next award recognizes a leader who is making it happen. The Inspiring Leadership Award celebrates an inspiring leader who has played a pivotal leadership role in delivering a project, partnership, or collaborative initiative within the last 5 to 10 years. Through the project or initiative, the awardee has delivered meaningful outcomes and positive change in the health industry and has demonstrated valuable leadership skills with dedication and passion for innovation that has true impact. The BioMelbourne Network Inspiring Leadership Award for 2021 goes to Jennifer Hertz, Managing Director of BioIntellect. So congratulations, Jennifer. Jennifer and her partner, Carl Hertz, are founders and managing directors, respectively, of BioIntellect and BioSelect. Their vision was to build a strategic life science commercialization company that could leverage their international experience and address commercialization gaps in the Australian ecosystem. When identifying new assets for unmet needs in Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific region. In her role at BioIntellect, Jennifer has played an integral part in the successful outcome of several key projects, delivering meaningful and positive change in the health sector. In 2018, the first novel molecule against malaria in over 2 decades was approved by the TGA and FDA for prevention of malaria. This was achieved with collaboration of Australian providers, including BioIntellect, working in partnership with 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals and the U.S. Army. In 2020, Novavax commenced the first COVID-19 vaccine trial to start in the Southern Hemisphere with the support of Nucleus Network and 360 Biolabs. Novavax is a long-standing client of BioIntellect, and this relationship resulted in BioSelect being appointed sponsor for the Australian and New Zealand markets. Novavax has entered into agreements to supply 51 million doses to Australia and 10.7 million doses to New Zealand. Jennifer's proven leadership, determination, passion, and ability to develop and implement innovative solutions to drive products to market is truly inspirational, and we're honored to share just a few of Jennifer's outstanding achievements with you here today. So in that, please join me in congratulating and welcoming Jennifer Hertz, our 2021 Inspiring Leadership Award. Well done, Jennifer. I'll invite you to say a few words.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks to the BioMelbourne Network for this great honour to be here today and accept the Inspiring Leader Award. I'd also like to thank the Honourable Linda Dessau and Jane Garrett for their kind words and their opening remarks. It's a great time to be in Victoria. We opened our office here about 2 years ago, and I'd like to thank Dr. Patricia Vatir, who's sitting at the back there. She was our first employee. We've now got a team of 8 in Melbourne, so it's great to see that growth. I'd like to thank also as many people I know in the room who are either past award winners, probably some future ones as well, and all the people online. This is always a collaborative effort that you can't do without the whole ecosystem. I always think of my career as being rather accidental. I also came from a small English village in Buckinghamshire. And it may surprise you to know that I studied geology, and I was going to be a pilot like my father. And I ended up coming to Australia with the whole family and kind of fell into a career in life sciences, which has been very good to me. And I never really knew what I wanted to be. I had 20 years in really in commercialisation roles in the pharmaceutical industry, and I was lucky enough to have a country management role with Sanofi Pasteur, and then an international role with MedImmune and AstraZeneca. And those roles were really foundational for my core skill set, which I worked out. What I love doing is solving complex problems with cross-functional teams of people. And that really lay the foundations for biointellect. So the idea was to bring those skills to help life science companies commercialise their new technologies. So it's great to be recognised for that. Despite the terrible toll of the pandemic, it's been a really amazing time to work in life science commercialisation. In particular, because there's been a lot of people united around a common purpose, and all the barriers that we often see have kind of fallen away to get things done, and we can now see some technologies coming through, particularly the vaccines. It's as a person that's worked in the vaccine industry a long time, it's just amazing to see how quickly these products have safely been delivered to the market and are now starting to have impact. It's also exposed the strengths and weaknesses of the Australian ecosystem, and I think what I'd like to say today is there's an opportunity for all of us and all of the new people that are thinking about a career in STEM to continue to be advocates for this complicated industry that we're in. It is complex, it's challenging, and it needs sustained advocacy to kind of join the dots and make sure that we can commercialise. So I think it's great to have events like this to help bring people together and continue those messages. So final thanks to my family. My daughter Emily is in the room. She's with me here today. We're a family business, and we now have all 4 of us working in the business, which is pretty much fun and sometimes challenging. But it's wonderful because you always know family has your back. We've got a great team of people. We're now up to over 25 people in the 2 companies, in BioIntellect and BioSelect. I'd like to thank all of them. Couldn't have done it without them. But also all our clients and all our collaborators. And a big shout out to all the service providers in the ecosystem who do so much as well to support commercialisation. And thanks again to all of you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and congratulations again as the recipient of the 2021 Inspiring Leadership Award. Our next award recognizes a leader with impact for industry. The Distinguished Leadership Award celebrates a senior leader who has shown leadership and vision, resulting in significant and meaningful impact to the industry throughout her career. She demonstrates outstanding leadership qualities, integrity and initiative, dedication and determination, and a strong passion for innovation that has lasting impact. The BioMelbourne Network Distinguished Leadership Award for 2021, I'm pleased to say, goes to Dr. Jenny Petering of Council at FB Rice. Congratulations, Jenny. Through her enthusiasm for innovation and mentoring, Jenny has made lasting contributions to the biotechnology industry. An inspiring role model, she has had a positive impact to the advancement of women in the sector by creating networks, mentoring forums, and investing in female entrepreneurs. Jenny sits on the IMNIS Expert Advisory Panel, the Springboard Life Sciences Executive Committee, and various commercialization committees for research institutes. She's a member of Scale Angels, an investment group mentoring and supporting early-stage female founders with funding and advice. As a senior fellow in the Melbourne Law Masters at the University of Melbourne, Jenny teaches a subject on patents. She has led and educated generations of patent attorneys at many levels, having held teaching roles at the University of Melbourne and Monash University. Jenny is a trusted advisor with extensive experience in managing global patent portfolios in the biotechnology sector. She has a broad range of clients, including research institutes, large corporates, and startups. Jenny is a leader in applying IP law to new technology for clients in an ever-changing environment. Seen not just as a service provider, but as an integral part of her clients' teams, Jenny instills trust and respect in these relationships and applies a cohesive approach to maximize her clients' IP potential. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Dr. Jenny Petering, our 2021 Distinguished Leadership Award. Thank you, Jenny. Welcome to the podium for a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and thanks to the Governor and to the Honourable Jane Garrett for their words of support today. It's an absolute honour to be receiving this award today, especially since I've been a big fan of the BioMelbourne network for many, many years now. Born and bred in Melbourne, by the way. People say that great things can come from networks, and I've watched with huge admiration over time what this particular network has done to fuel the growth of our industry, not just here in Victoria, but throughout the country. Receiving a leadership award is, of course, very humbling. I've always thought that leadership is mainly about serving and supporting others. And in that sense, I think I've been very lucky in my role at FB Rice over the past few decades as a service provider to the industry, because that really has suited me to the ground in a lot of ways. It's given me the opportunity to work not only with our clients, but other organisations in the sector. And I can work side by side with them to understand their businesses, to try to learn about their needs and work out what can be done to help. Now, as the people I'm working with seem to get younger and younger, I suppose it's been a natural transition for me to turn more to teaching and mentoring roles, and being able to share my experiences with upcoming smart and energetic people in this sector, and to watch them evolve into leaders themselves has given me great joy over the last few years. Before I finish up, I'd like to sincerely thank those who either put me forward for this award, supported my nomination, or helped chase the imposter syndrome thoughts from my head during the process. And of those people in particular, I'd like to thank Jen Harry, Kerry Hegarty and Ian Rook. I'm also very grateful to FB Rice for having a set of values that allows me to invest my time in supporting the industry, and I'm very grateful to the people there for being great colleagues and friends for such a long time. Finally, I'd like to thank my family, particularly my mother, father and brother, for their unwavering support and for being wonderful role models right from the start. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Our final award today recognizes leadership and impact amidst the pandemic. The 2021 Board of Directors Award celebrates a leader who has used her initiative to effectively take on a significant challenge, which has had an outstanding impact in healthcare and health tech. Their work has greatly benefited Australian communities during the COVID-19 pandemic. The BioMelbourne Network Board of Directors Award for 2021 goes to Associate Professor Margie Danchin, Research Group Leader and Clinical Scientist, Murdoch Children's Research Institute. So, congratulations. Margie leads a research group within MCRI's COVID-19 initiative around vaccine uptake focused on education, communication, and building vaccine confidence. Margie is currently running the Victorian COVID-19 vaccine preparedness study with over 5,000 survey and 40 qualitative interview respondents to date to understand people's attitudes and concerns around COVID vaccines, factors that will influence vaccine acceptance and the information needs and preferred communication channels for different groups. This work will be used to tailor effective communication strategies and target vaccine information in partnership with the Victorian Government. Through her leadership position at COSI and MCRI. Margie is leading the COVID-19 vaccine confidence training program for healthcare providers, industry groups, and community and faith leaders from diverse communities, including recent migrants and refugees and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. This culturally safe and sensitive training will ensure those groups receive the most relevant and important information to them, maximizing vaccine uptake and preventing disease. Margie is an outstanding leader. She is passionate about improving lives of individuals, families, and the community. She is an outstanding communicator and highly respected for her warmth, integrity, and decision-making skills. Her ability to inspire others within this rapidly changing environment with multiple stakeholders is very impressive. So with that, please join me in congratulating and welcoming Associate Professor Margie Danchin to our 2021 Board of Directors Awardee. Thank you, Margie. Come and say a few words.
Thank you so much for the honour of accepting this award today, particularly to the Board of Directors of the BioMelbourne Network and to Jeff, but also to the Honourable Linda DeSalle for her words and to the Honourable Jane Garrett for her lovely words and welcome. This really is an extraordinary and unexpected honour. I really did not see this award coming whatsoever. It has been an incredibly challenging last 12 months for us all, living through our first global pandemic. And I think it's really allowed women in particular to come forward and shine in science. I'd really like to thank Professor Catherine North, the Director of the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, for this nomination, and also for making MCRI such an amazing place to work. I really think that women in particular can thrive. The pandemic has allowed us all to come together across groups, for silos to be broken down over the last 12 months in a really extraordinary way that has enabled leadership at all levels, and particularly for women. I'd like to thank my group, the Vaccine Uptake Group at the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, particularly Senior Fellow in my group, Jessica Kaufman. I can assure you none of this work can ever be done by one individual, and I rely on my group and their passion and dedication. Their hours of work in the evening, over weekends, often unpaid, is really quite extraordinary when people are passionate and love what they do. I am also the chair of the Collaboration of Social Science and Immunisation in Australia, and this is a group that really works to build confidence in vaccines across the lifespan and really increase uptake right from maternal vaccination through childhood vaccination and into adulthood. And it's an incredible group to lead, and Professor Julie Leask, who was the chair before me, has really been an amazing guiding mentor for me. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family, my husband David and my 4 children. My eldest daughter Liv is here today, so thank you so much, Liv, for coming. It's fantastic to see my 3 girls showing an interest in science, and hopefully if I can provide them any sort of inspiration in science and in their careers going forward, then I'm very happy to do that. I don't come from a small English village. I was actually born in South Africa and emigrated when I was 11, and I've had an extremely twisting, turning career that has really, I've worked in the field of vaccine research for nearly 20 years, and in the last 5 years more around vaccine acceptance, confidence and demand. So in terms of the pandemic, I really think what I have been able to bring to this is around science communication. I think never before have we seen epidemiologists, infectious disease physicians and public health leaders be such rock stars. I think epidemiology is a household name, but the public really need to try and understand science. It needs to be relatable. We need to be able to know what people are talking about, to understand and be reassured that even though we have these vaccines over an incredibly short period of time, that they are safe, that no corners have been cut. And so I've been able to step into the media, radio, TV, print media, a lot of the training that you heard about, speaking with communities, real community engagement with different groups, particularly Indigenous peoples and other cultural groups, to try and translate the science, reassure them, speak about vaccine concerns, because if we are going to get out of this pandemic, we really do need to see quite high coverage of these vaccines in the community. So I'll just finish there and just thank you so much for this honour. I'm very passionate about supporting women and the women coming behind me. You know, as Kamala Harris said when she became the Vice President of the United States, I might be the first person to walk through this door, but I won't be the last, and I intend to bring lots of amazing women with me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Margie, and congratulations again as the recipient of our 2021 Board of Directors Award. On a quick personal note, I think all of us have seen the switch from getting a vaccine in place and now seeing vaccine hesitancy around the world. And it's not anti-vax, it's not something to blame people for, it's something we need to engage with, and with compassion and understanding. And we all have that, because there's not going to be a person in this room who hasn't been asked on multiple times, or who hasn't had that conversation on a bus or in the tram or wherever you are with those people who are simply don't understand for whatever reason and are hesitant. And so couldn't be more important work at this moment. So thank you. The common features that underpin the achievements of each of these marvelous examples of leadership can be summed up in the quote from Joan Swilla. Leadership is not a position or a person. It's a complex moral relationship between the people based on trust, obligation, commitment, emotion, and a shared vision of the good. The stories that we've heard and shared with you today show that it was not just their personal obligation, commitment, and vision that have led them to be recognized leaders. It was their ability to share that vision with others, gain the trust and commitment of their teams, and include them collectively on a journey towards success. Visibility of female leaders empowers our sector and promotes a culture of diversity, inclusivity, and flexibility. Our 2021 awardees are not only leaders in their respective fields, but also role models for progressive leadership, equality, and equity. These awards recognize and affirm the important role that women play, not only in science, but more broadly in the community. Please join us in amplifying the visibility of these four exceptional leaders by sharing their stories with friends, amplifying their achievements on social media, and continuing the conversation with colleagues and business associates. Please consider nominating an inspiring leader that you know for our 2022 awards next year. I'd like to thank again Her Excellency the Honorable Linda Dessau, AC, Governor of Victoria, for her message of congratulations, and thank you to the Honorable Jane Garrett for presenting today's awards. This ceremony would not have been possible without the support of the State Government of Victoria, Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions. We thank them for their ongoing support, not only of these awards, but of the greater Victorian health industry. And of course, thank you to all of our guests, both joining us here in person today, which is lovely, and also for all of you joining online for this important celebration of women in sector. You can find out more about our 4 award winners today in an online booklet that will be released to you all in a post-event email. We'll also be sharing these stories in upcoming communications on social media and on our website. So with that, it concludes today's formal proceedings. So I'd like to invite our in-person guests to proceed downstairs for morning tea. Our awardees will join you shortly after celebrations and some official photos. And for our guests online, a huge thank you for joining us today and being part of today's celebration. And with that, everyone, have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.